All right, for this investigation, we are going to be doing some blood typing, but first we need to grab some materials. So you should grab your day 3 blood evidence bag, looks like this one. So from this bag, you should grab your plastic well plate, looks like this, as well as your Sharpie. You should also grab 7 of your plastic pipettes and 12 toothpicks. You should have a Ziploc bag with a bunch of different chemical agents. Just grab the whole Ziploc bag. You should have a foam tube holder. Grab that out. And then lastly, you're gonna need a pair of gloves. So you've got a couple extras in there. Grab one pair, 2 gloves. Grab those out. Go ahead and pause me. Grab your materials, and then we'll get started. So today is a great day where we especially get to put that safe lab protocol simulation into use. So we are using those chemical agents, so we want to make sure that we're wearing our gloves the whole time today. If you're like me and you have longer hair, go ahead and throw your hair up in a ponytail like I did. If you are wearing a longer shirt, like long sleeve shirt, go ahead and push the sleeves up like I did. Or if you're wearing a t-shirt, that is perfect, then you won't even have to worry about it. So go ahead and make sure you are going to be able to practice safe lab protocol before we get started today. So go ahead and pull out your Ziploc bag full of your chemical agents, the ones that you're going to want to pull out of that bag, and you can put them right in your foam tube holder. Your blood types that you're going to pull out are your A positive, so it's going to have an A plus on it, B negative, B minus, AB positive, and O negative. And then you're also going to want to find your antibodies. They're going to say anti-A, anti-B, and an anti-RH. So go ahead and find all of those and then pull them out, stick them right in your foam tube holder, get those all set, and then we'll keep on going. The next step that you need to do is to wash out your well plate. All you need to do is rinse it with a little bit of water just from your kitchen sink and then dry it. But this is a very important step because if there is any residue left over from the previous blood type that you were testing, you might not get the correct results. So this is very important when you go to test after your standard, when you go to test your suspects, and then again test your crime scene blood types. So make sure every time you are washing out your well plate, you are washing it very, very well and then making sure to dry it out completely. Once your well plate is dry, go ahead and label it. Just like this, you're gonna have your blood types across the top and your antibodies down the bottom. You can use your journal as a guide, but I labeled mine on the outside of the wells. Your picture in your journal shows it inside the wells. I like to label mine on the outside, just like this. You can follow mine if you want to. So you can go ahead and pause it if you want to follow this. Go ahead and label just like that. And then you also need to label your pipettes, just the same as what you labeled your plates. So I have one for each blood type, like example, it's kind of hard to see in the video, but I have an A positive, a B negative, an AB positive, an O negative, for example. So I have one for each of my blood types, one for each of my antibodies. Go ahead and pause until you get those all labeled, all of your plates, or all of your wells, and all of your pipettes. You should have one for each. So what I'm going to show you now is how to plate each of your blood types here onto your well plate. You just finished labeling your pipettes, which correspond to your tubes here, each of your blood types. So you should use a clean pipette for each of your blood types so that you don't cross-contaminate them. That is key here. If you would like to grab a napkin or a piece of paper towel like I did, so when you are done using each of your pipettes, you can lay it on your paper towel. It's optional, but I grabbed one. So if you'd like to do that, go ahead and do that real quick. So you are going to place 2 drops of each blood type into your wells, and I'll show you how to do that here, but we are going to use just 2 drops of each. So I'm going to start with my A positive blood type here on the left. So I'm going to find my A positive tube. We're going to open that very carefully, and I'm going to find my A positive pipette. So they correspond with my labels here. So I'm gonna drop just a little bit here. Don't need a whole lot, remember I'm only gonna use 2 drops in each well. And I have 3 wells that are going to need A positive blood. So I have A positive blood type here. I'm going to put 2 drops in this well, 1, 2. Then we're going to continue downward. So this is my A positive blood type going downward. I'm going to have another 2 drops in this well, 1, 2. And then this last one here is also A positive blood. So 1, 2. And I'm done with my A positive blood. So I'm going to close my A positive blood tube and put it back in my foam holder. And I'm just going to lay my A positive pipette down on my paper towel. Now my A positive blood is on my well plate. And I'm finished with my A positive blood. Now I'm going to move on to my B negative and do the exact same thing. So I'll just show you one more here. Find my B negative pipette. Just do the exact same thing here. 2 drops of B negative going down. 1, 2. Close my B negative tube. Lay my pipette down. So go ahead and finish your plate with the AB positive blood and the O negative blood the exact same way. So I finished plating the rest of my blood types. So now what we're going to do is the exact same process with our 3 antibodies, which are our anti-A, anti-B, anti-RH. So we have our remaining 3 pipettes that should be labeled A, B, and RH. So they correspond with our tubes here. So we're going to do that same exact process. I'm going to start with my anti-A, because it is at the top. And we are still going to do the 2 drops of our antibodies, just like our blood types. So I'm going to start with my A and my anti-A tube, my A pipette. I am going to do 2 drops. This time I'm going to be going left to right. So I'm going to be doing my A antibody all the way across all 4 of my blood types. So I'm going to start in my A positive blood and do 2 drops. 1, 2. Then I'm going to move across to the right to my B negative blood. 1, 2. To my AB positive. 1, 2. And lastly to my O negative. 1, 2. So now I have my anti-A across all of my blood types. So what I'm going to do is take 1 clean toothpick and I'm going to stir up my A positive blood here. Just a little bit of a stir. And I'm going to observe what's happening in my A positive blood. But what is key here is to not use this toothpick in any other well. Why? Because if I do, I will be cross-contaminating my blood types. I don't want this A positive blood to go into any other well. I won't be getting the correct results in any other well then if I use this toothpick in any other well. So I have a lot of toothpicks. I can use a clean toothpick in every other well. So this is my A positive toothpick. I can lean it there if I want, or you can put it on your paper towel if you chose to grab one. Once it's stirred up, you won't need it anymore. So I'm just gonna throw it on my paper towel. So now I've got this one stirred up and I'm observing. I'm gonna use a new clean toothpick for my B negative. Stirring it up, I'm observing. You have an observation chart in your journal, so as you're observing these, write down some observations, figure out what is going on with these. Maybe some color changes, some texture changes, anything you see going on, write those down. So I'm grabbing a clean toothpick for each well. Clean toothpicks and clean pipettes are very, very important for this investigation. So I used 4 toothpicks for those 4 wells. That is very, very important. So now I have my antibody A across all 4 of my blood types. And those ones are all done. So I'm going to leave you with that. And you're gonna follow that same process using your antibody B across all 4 of your blood types, and then your antibody RH across all of your 4 blood types. Same process, 2 drops of your antibody into each, stir it up with a clean toothpick, a clean one in each well, and then just throw it to the side and observe what is going on into your journals. Now that you guys have done some blood typing and you guys are comfortable with the process, we're gonna do this 2 more times. But first, make sure you wash out your well plate and dry it, making sure there's no residue left over before you move on to the next blood type. So for the next blood type, first you're gonna do your suspects, W, X, Y, and Z. And then the next time you're going to do the tubes labeled R and CS. This is your victim blood and the blood that's found at the crime scene. So all of it is going to be the exact same process that I just showed you, using 2 drops of your blood type, 2 drops of your antibodies. The antibodies are going to be the exact same ones, the A, B, and the RH. Use those down the left side of your well plate, and the blood types that change, just keep those across the top. Label them the exact same way that I showed you. And then make sure you are washing out your well plate in between. That is super important, as well as using clean pipettes and clean toothpicks each time. That is very important as well. So you will need to grab new pipettes and label those each time, as well as new toothpicks. You'll need to grab some more of those out of your evidence bag.